I've always maintained that I think if Takumi was a Conquest unit, he'd perform much better than he ever would in Birthright. He'd have access to bows as opposed to Yumi's. There are way more points of the game where bows are just more useful in general, and there's no Reina to outshine him in every way. So naturally, a question that I would be asking is, how would Takumi even work?
We can take these goons!
Allow me!
I refuse to accept this.
Oh, shoot! I hate to do this.
No way!
I'm sorry. Allow me! Oh, damn it. Oh, that's it! You think you've won? I hate to do this. Nope! Allow me! This can't be.
If Takumi were in Conquest, the first thing I would think about is what his supports would be like. Since he's already in Birthright and Revelation, I think it's likely that he'd be treated like the other shared route characters. That'd mean he'd get to support with all of the Nohrian women, and he'd also only get 3 total A+ supports across all 3 games. He currently supports with 4 units in the vanilla game: Hinata, Ryoma, Jacob, and Leo. That means we're gonna have to remove one of them. I think keeping Ryoma and Leo is a no-brainer, same with Hinata, as he is literally Takumi's retainer. That means we're probably going to remove his friendship with Jacob. Though that will cause the problem of Jacob not having enough friendships, so to remedy that, he can just gain a support with Benny, who is the only non-shared route unit in the game with only 3 supports across his main route and Revelation. Having support with the Nohrian women doesn't do a whole ton for him, but there are 3 supports in particular that I think are really good for him. The first one is one that he already has, which is Mozu. When Mozu marries Takumi, she is unable to give him her base class of villager because that's exclusive to her and her children. That means, when she marries, the game tries to give Takumi archer. Takumi is already an archer himself, so that doesn't work either. So the game pulls from a list of what most people call parallel classes, which is on screen right now. The parallel class for villager is apothecary, meaning marrying Mozu gets him access to Merchant and Mechanist. Mechanist in particular is really good for Takumi because he still gets to use bows on top of being able to use daggers, one of the best weapon types in the entire game. Another good support option for him would be Selena. Like Mozu, Selena also gives Takumi a strong bow class that lets him use a second weapon type in the form of Bow Knight. Selena also helps Takumi with one of his biggest weaknesses in his stat line, being speed. His third good option, though in my opinion it's not as good, is a tie between Camilla and Baruka. I'm sure I don't need to spell it out for you as to why Wyvern Lords with high strength and skill are good in Conquest. Now that that's taken care of, the second question would probably be how and why on earth would he join the Nohrian army? Now, this is something that I don't totally know for sure, but I think I came up with a recruitment requirement that is close enough to realistic for making someone like Takumi join your team. That way would be completing Chapter 10 with your entire starting army being in a Hoshiden class. Camilla's group I wouldn't count because they join automatically with no way to change Baruka and Camilla into a Hoshiden class. Something like this sounds really hard to do, and that's because it kind of is if you're not good at support building. What you have to do is an early game paralog chain. Without DLC and excluding Chapter 6, there are a total of 5 Conquest exclusive maps that you can do before Chapter 10. However, there are ways to increase that number by a lot. By picking Female Corrin in the pre-Branch of Fate maps, you will likely unlock your C support with Jacob before Chapter 7, without much effort at all. Since Jacob and Corrin have a fast support, it takes them exactly 5 maps to go from their C support to their S support. Getting their S support in these 5 maps will allow you to complete Dwyer's Paralog, a 6th map before Chapter 10, and it will also unlock Kana's Paralog, a 7th map before Chapter 10. In Chapter 7, you recruit Arthur, Effie, and Elise. Arthur has a fast support with both of them, so taking Effie as an example optimally takes 1 map to get their C support, a 2nd map to reach their B support, 2 more maps to reach their A support, and another 2 for their S support. That's 6 maps required for their S support, so with Corrin and Jacob getting married already, that gives them more than enough time to unlock Percy's Paralog, the 8th map in the Paralog chain. Using the most popular pairing with Elise, Odin, these two together will have Chapter 8, 9, Paralog 1, Invasion 1, Kana's Paralog, Dwyer's Paralog, and Percy's Paralog. They need 1 map for their C support, 2 for their B support, 2 for their A support, and another 2 for their S support. That means they have just barely enough time to get married and unlock Ophelia's Paralog, the 9th map before Chapter 10. This 9th map gives Nyx enough time to reach her S support with Niles, and Azura enough time to reach her S support with Silas. Every unit that can gets married with 2 maps to spare. In Chapter 10, you're allowed to bring 9 units that aren't Corrin. Mozu and Azura already start in Hoshiden classes, as well as Shigure once you recruit him, so that's 3 free ones right off the bat. In Chapter 9 in Ophelia's Paralog, Niles is able to capture 2 Hoshiden characters, so that's another 4. Corrin is force deployed in Chapter 10, so she needs to either Heartseal into a Hoshiden class, or receive an A support with either Azura or Mozu to Friendship Seal into Sky Knight or Archer. I'll use the Friendship Seal as an example here to save the 2 Heart Seals for other units, but Corrin is another one. Nyx and Niles are specifically supported with each other in this case because marrying them together gives Nina access to Diviner, so using a Heart Seal gives a Hoshiden class. Alternatively, if Kana has a Heart Seal for a Hoshiden class, both him and Dwyer can use a Heart Seal. Either way, the Heart Seals give us 2 more options. By this point, we still have the Partner Seal for Silas, who married Azura and can get Sky Knight, and there's still the option to get friendship between Azura and Elise, or Mozu and Effie, or Mozu and Nyx, and suddenly, you have a surplus of characters in Hoshiden classes. By this point, all you would have to do is confront Takumi in the middle of the map and defeat him, and then he will join your cause. Of course, this is all theoretical, but it's cool to think about. If you have any better ideas of ways Takumi could be recruited, I'd love to know in the comments. Thanks for watching.